There is a big difference between an efficient programmer and someone who just codes. In order to be a successful software engineer, you're going to have to learn a lot of things. There are certain skills that you must know and that you need to know in order to be successful and in order to be more efficient and in order to be a better programmer and a better problem solver. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 skills that you must have as a software engineer, and these skills are what are going to help you become a better programmer and a better problem solver. At the end of the day, you want to be an efficient programmer and you want to be a good software engineer. So these skills are definitely going to help you. So please stick around to know what these skills are. Number 1, keyboard mastering. I know it sounds very basic or it doesn't sound like a big deal, but mastering a keyboard and knowing how to type fast enough and well enough is going to really save you a lot of time. I used to be that kind of person who really struggled with touch typing, and I would find myself looking at my keyboard most of the time whenever I was typing. And over time I found out that I would waste a lot of time by doing that. And I therefore had to dedicate some time and practice and learn how to touch type. And I must admit that knowing how to touch type has really saved me a lot of time. And I will always recommend that you know how to touch type if you're someone that does not know how to do that yet. So take your time and ensure that you have learned how to touch type. And once you do that, you can go ahead and learn the keyboard shortcuts and basically master these shortcuts. For example, things like Control F, Command F. Knowing these keyboard shortcuts will really save you a big deal when it comes to typing and when it comes to coding, because you see, programmers spend a huge amount of their time typing. So you better be able to know how to type fast enough and well enough, especially when you have to be dealing with thousands of lines of code. In addition, your speed really matters as well. So after knowing how to touch type, go ahead and practice on your speed. So if you're someone that does not know your keyboard well enough yet, be sure to dedicate the time to know and master your keyboard. Number 2, you need to know how to skim through text. Let's admit it, developers and engineers Google a lot, and we have to read through huge amounts of text and basically have to read through a lot of documents and a lot of articles. Therefore, if you know how to skim through text fast enough, you're going to be able to know how to filter the most important things and basically things that you don't have to look at. Again, this is going to save you a huge amount of time. And you know, time is very important, especially if you're someone that has deadlines and has a lot of things that you have to work on. For example, when it comes to going through Stack Overflow, going through big blocks of code, if you have this skill, it's really going to help you save your time and basically help you get to the solutions fast enough. In addition, remember the trick of using Control F whenever you're looking for something. Number 3, debugging. One of the most fundamental things that you need to know as a developer or as an engineer is how to problem solve. And in order to become a good problem solver, you're going to need to know how to address the obstacles that you face. And the only way that you can do that is by knowing how to debug. Debugging can be as simple as knowing how to use your print statements, to knowing how to use the Google Chrome console, and knowing how to use the Chrome tabs to debug your front end, as well as knowing how to use the inbuilt IDEs to debug on the back end. Debugging is very important because it really helps you maximize on your productivity, and it really helps you when it comes to problem solving, and also helps you when it comes to optimizing on the time that you spend on a problem. Therefore, as a software engineer or as a developer, ensure that you take the time to learn how to debug, and ensure that you take the time to know how to use these particular tools that can help you, especially when it comes to debugging. Number 4, time optimization. You do not want to spend an entire day centering a div. It doesn't make sense, right? Yes, so you need to know how to divide your time and basically know how to work on specific tasks and ensure that you spend the time that you have wisely. At the end of the day, time is of essence and time is money. So you need to know how to actually use your time wisely enough to ensure that the amount of time that you work on something is actually productive and efficient. So how do you ensure that you are efficient when it comes to how you spend your time? Number one, you can do so by time boxing, and that is setting a fixed amount of time to work on something. It can be as little as 30 minutes to as long as, let's say, 3 hours. I don't recommend working on something on hours without taking a break. Let's say working on something for 5 hours straight without taking a break. I recommend taking breaks. In addition, you can do so by asking for help whenever you need help. Knowing that you need help and asking for it is actually very, very important, because you see, it's going to save you a lot of time. I used to be that kind of person who was very scared of asking for help, and I would find myself spending days working on a project or trying to find a solution, and even at the end of those days, I'd find myself not having figured it out. But if I had gone out of my way to ask for help, I would find out that I would find the solution almost instantly. So do not be scared to actually go out and ask for help whenever you need it, because there's definitely someone out there who knows how to solve something way better than you do, or who knows the solution to a problem. Thirdly, avoid distractions. Basically, turn off your notifications if you know that your notifications can distract you. And whenever you're working, ensure that you're working in an environment that is less distractive and in an environment where you're going to be more productive. At the end of the day, you want to ensure that you are very conscious of how you spend your time and basically how you use your time. And finally, the final skill that I think is very, very important and every developer or every engineer out there should have is foresight. This is what is going to help you know how to predict the best and worst case scenario of things. As a good engineer, we definitely know that problem solving is one of the most fundamental things that you're going to have to do. And therefore, knowing how to predict the best and worst case scenario of things is going to help you build applications or build software that is going to handle whatever cases of error that you're going to get. In addition, know how to use your judgment well enough, especially when it comes to setting deadlines and especially when it comes to building and basically working through whatever obstacles that you may face. It's important to be realistic, but also be optimistic. It is very important as a developer or as a programmer to be updated on basically the current technologies and also look into the future and know what is going to help you be successful. At the end of the day, you want to ensure that you're a good problem solver and that you're a good engineer and that you're efficient at what you do. And these skills that I just told you about are going to help you achieve that. I hope that you have learned something from this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much and keep coding and stay safe.